The Chernobyl disaster. In the mid-1970s, the Soviet Union began construction on a new nuclear power plant in the city of Pripyat, located in what is now Ukraine. The plant was named after Vladimir Ilyich Lenin and was intended to be a symbol of Soviet technological progress and energy independence. However, the construction of the plant was plagued by a number of problems and setbacks. The reactor design that was chosen for the plant, the RBMK-1000, had a number of flaws that made it more prone to accidents than other reactor types. The design lacked some of the safety features that were standard on Western reactors, and it was difficult to control under certain operating conditions. Despite these issues, construction on the plant continued. As the plant neared completion, it became clear that there were serious problems with the design and construction of the facility. There were concerns about the quality of the materials being used, as well as the competence of the construction workers. In addition, there were issues with the training and qualifications of the plant's operators. Despite these problems, the plant was commissioned in 1983 and began producing electricity. However, the issues with the design and construction of the plant would soon become apparent.
Chernobyl was a disaster that happened on April 26, 1986, at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine.
The accident occurred during a test of a reactor that resulted in a massive explosion, followed by a fire that released radioactive material into the atmosphere. It is considered the worst nuclear disaster in history. The explosion and fire released a significant amount of radioactive particles into the atmosphere, which spread across Europe and even reached as far as North America. The disaster caused widespread contamination of soil, water, and food, which led to the evacuation of around 115,000 people from the area. The accident resulted in immediate deaths, and long-term health effects are still being studied. The immediate deaths were caused by the explosion and the fire, which killed 2 workers and caused 29 others to die of acute radiation sickness. The long-term health effects include increased risks of cancer and other diseases associated with exposure to radiation. After the accident, an exclusion zone was established around the plant, and it remains in place to this day. The zone is approximately 2,600 square kilometers and is off-limits to most people. The area is now home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, including many species that are endangered. The disaster led to significant changes in the regulation of nuclear power, and new safety measures were put in place to prevent similar accidents from happening in the future. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a reminder of the risks associated with nuclear power and the importance of taking all necessary precautions to prevent accidents from happening. In conclusion, the Chernobyl disaster was a significant event that had far-reaching consequences. The disaster affected the lives of thousands of people and led to significant changes in the regulation of nuclear power. It serves as a reminder of the risks associated with nuclear power and the importance of ensuring the safety of nuclear facilities. The events following the Chernobyl disaster were turned into a film titled Chernobyl Diaries. Chernobyl Diaries is a horror movie that was released in 2012. The movie is based on the Chernobyl disaster that occurred in Ukraine in 1986, and the aftermath that followed. It follows a group of tourists who decide to visit the abandoned city of Pripyat, which was evacuated after the disaster. The movie begins with a group of friends who are planning a trip to Europe. One of the friends, Chris, suggests they go to Ukraine and visit his brother Paul, who is working in Kiev. Paul offers to take them on a tour of the abandoned city of Pripyat, which is located near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Despite warnings from a local guide, the group decides to take the tour. They enter the city of Pripyat, which has been abandoned since the disaster, and start exploring the area. However, things quickly take a turn for the worse when they realize they are not alone. They start to encounter strange and terrifying creatures, and they soon realize that they are being hunted. The movie is a fictional account of what could happen if tourists were to visit the abandoned city of Pripyat. The movie is not based on any actual events, but it does highlight the dangers of visiting a place like this. The Chernobyl disaster was a real tragedy that resulted in the loss of many lives, and it is important to remember that when visiting the area. Overall, Chernobyl Diaries is a scary and suspenseful movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It is a good reminder of the importance of safety when exploring abandoned areas, and it serves as a cautionary tale for those who might be tempted to visit the area around Chernobyl.